Welcome to episode number 57 at the BS Machine. I'm your host, Tommy Kendi, and welcome. On today's podcast, on this episode, we are going to dive into... Ooh, how's the silence? How's the fucking silence? You're sitting there going, what has Tommy got for us today? What has Tommy got for us today? And I tell you what, my friends. Well, before I tell you, before I tell you what I got for you, just remember that movie. Oh fuck! It's one of those moments. I literally had it there right in my head. That movie where Sharon Stone sits back in her chair. She's got the legs crossed. And she looks sexy as fuck. You know the movie. She's sitting back in her chair. Sharon Stone looking sexy as all fuck. And she just looks like a total fucking badass. And she's sitting back and she's like, what the fuck have you got for me? That is what this episode about. This episode is about being a badass, being a total badass when it comes to life, and being intricate with your badassness, and being, being able to wake up almost with that image, that Sharon Stone image, or there might be other images like, there's these cool images that come to mind with Clint Eastwood. Just like you look at the guy and he's just an absolute badass. And imagine for a second if you could wake up every single day with this badass attitude of looking out at the world and going, what the fuck have you got for me today, mate? What do you got for me today? And so that's what this episode is about today, is literally being a full out badass in the way that you attack life. And the cool thing is that I think even you hearing these words instantly would put you in a different it'd put you in a different state. It'd put you in a different, it's like, you know what, imagine if I woke up every day being an absolute badass. And a few things happen when you allow yourself to be an absolute badass, and you look at life, like Sharon Stone or Clint Eastwood, you got the ciggy hanging out of your mouth. You're like, yeah, let's fucking do this. Make my day. That's the Clint Eastwood thing, isn't it? Make my day. I'm pretty sure it's Clint Eastwood. If it's not, I just sound like a total wanker. But it is. No, it is. It's Clint Eastwood. It's he sits back and he's like, let's go. Make my day. So yeah, with this whole thing of just stepping into that way of sitting back and just going, yep, I'm coming to fucking get ya. And it puts you in this whole different mentality. And when you're being a badass, one of the key things that sort of happens is you almost take on this different role. You put on the cape and you take on a different role in life. You take on a different perspective, don't you? Because it's like when we're wearing a mask, or when we're wearing no, actually, sorry, mask is not the right word. But when we decide to put on this badass mentality, it gives us the opportunity to almost let go of all our fears. It gives us the opportunity to just go, you know what? Just for today, I'm going to attack today like a full fucking badass. And I'm just going to go for it, stand up, look at the world and be like, yep, make my day, bitch. Let's fucking go. And when you're able to take on those different personas, sometimes it is a good thing, because shit does happen in life, and when shit hits the fan in life, in whatever capacity, and I think there'd be probably plenty of that happening at the moment. With the state of the world and whatnot. And I'm not going to really go into it because we all know what's happening in the world. But if you had this ability to take on this persona of being a full out fucking badass, and how would that change things for you? And I think if you're being honest with yourself, the way that things would change is that your egoic, well, yeah, your egoic nature, which is basically all the fears that you have about moving forward, they would almost they would almost sit like let go on the side. That they would just drop off, wouldn't they? Because you're in this whole other persona of being a fucking badass. And I've already worked out a name for myself when I'm being a badass. And I'm even thinking about, well, I am. I'm actually gonna change my whole thing. But my badass when I look out into the world is I call myself the greatness guru. And I think I've mentioned this on a podcast maybe a couple of days or a couple of episodes ago, I think, but I've been working on it behind the scenes. And yeah, so it's like I'm the fucking greatness guru, man. I'm fucking, look at that. I'm a greatness guru, and that's how I wake up every day. I'm the greatness guru. But for you, it could be, I don't know, Wonder Woman. It could be Superman. Whatever. You could make up your own little thing, where you step into this whole other persona where it's like let's get this shit done, and sometimes you have to dabble in this thing of yeah, what I mentioned before, which is basically just laughing at the fact of when shit hits the fan in life. And then the other thing that sort of happens is that you start to realize that when you start laughing at yourself, you call yourself on your own bullshit, you don't get too involved in what's happening in your life. And that might sound weird, but you don't get too fucking involved in all the shit that's happening in your life. Well, I'm talking about the shit that you don't like. Because when you get too involved in it, you're taking everything, one, you're taking it personally, like it's happening to you, and two, you're taking shit too seriously. Like there's just no need to take things so seriously. And so, I mean, I get it. There's shit going on now where people's businesses are going under. There's hard financial shit going on. There's all these segregation stuff going on. It's like, are you vaxxed? Are you not vaxxed? You're an idiot if you are. You're an idiot if you're not. All this stuff's going on, but it's like what you choose to get involved in is basically up to you. And look, you know what? I've got a little, I guess, a little story. I had poker night the other night with we do a poker night every month with the boys, mate, with the boys, and we had a poker night, and basically there was, I think, 8 or 9 of us there, and there was only 2 people at the table that haven't been vaccinated, and one of them was me, and the other one was another mate of ours. And so it was a really interesting dynamic, because I won't go too much into this, but there was a huge, as soon as we got there, because we haven't seen each other for months because it's been locked down and stuff. And the first question, who's vaccinated? Who's not vaccinated? Who's fucking vaccinated? Who's not vaccinated? And then we started talking, and that talk ended up in a full-out war at the poker table. And what I did, which I think I'm so good at, is I basically stayed quiet the whole entire time. I didn't give any reasons of why I'm not. I just stayed quiet. And I just sort of observed what was going on around the table. However, the other guy that wasn't vaccinated, he's going into all these things like, yeah, well, I'm this, and no. He was being really stern about it and like sticking to his guns, digging his heels, and it's like, you guys don't know what's in this shit, and no. And I'm like, wow, like, dude, you're never ever gonna win this, And And then and then it just went off, and I didn't even get involved at all. Like, I just observed, and I just saw the craziness going on. And then the one of the other guy that was obviously unvaccinated, I could just see the struggle, and he ended up, it got so heated that he ended up going outside because it just got so heated. And I was sitting there, and then the other guy said to me, they're like, Tommy, how come you're not? And I said, you know what? In all honesty, I have no idea about any science. I don't know shit about anything. I honestly have no idea. The only reason I'm not is because in my gut, it just, something doesn't feel right about it. That's for me. I respect you guys for doing it, but for me, there's just something in my gut that tells me that for me personally, this doesn't work. And you know what? They all just turned around and said, you know what, Tommy? We get it. That makes total sense. That was it. That was it. And so I just sort of mentioned that story because I know that there's a lot of things people are going through at the moment. And for us, it doesn't matter what area of your life you're struggling in. But what I can tell you is, if you have this ability to look at life in a way of just being a full out fucking badass, and being able to really take a step back and put on a different persona. And that's sometimes what it takes to be able to wake up and go, okay, today I'm going to kick life some serious fucking ass. And maybe I'm not going to do it myself. I'm going to have to draw in my alter ego, which for me is the greatness guru, or for you it might be something else. But you're pulling your alter ego and you're like, right, let's put the fucking cape on and let's go for it. And then what will come out from that is that you will do things that you wouldn't usually do. Because I'm the greatness guru, I can do whatever the fuck I want. I'm the greatness guru, man. I'm the greatness guru. And then you'll start to, I'm sure a lot of you have seen The Matrix. And in The Matrix, man, that movie, holy shit fucking balls. That movie has got so many great, and it doesn't matter how many times you watch it, each time you get a new message from it. So if you haven't seen it for a while, watch it again, maybe today, or whenever you get a chance. But the Matrix is such a powerful movie because what it sort of shows you is that you actually do create your own reality, and you can do things that you never ever believe possible. And when you realize the power in you, when you realize that the greatness guru is within me, it's just something that I have to call out. I have to pull it to the surface somehow. And then there's this great thing which I sort of realized about myself, which is basically your ego and your soul or your heart, they're actually creating at the same time. Both of them are creating at the same time. So it's almost like there's this darkness. It's like the blue pill and the red pill. They're both creating at the same time. And when you realize that there's two or three different realities that are being created at the same time, then the only thing left is which reality is actually going to come to the surface, or which reality is going to come into your external world. And then that is when the big aha moment starts to happen, because you go, okay, if I know what the ego or my fears and whatever else are creating, and I know what my soul is creating at the same time, then if I put the focus into my soul or my heart, or what my heart truly wants, then that is going to be the thing that that comes to the surface and actually projects out into the external world. Now, what most people do is they get involved in their narrative, they get involved in their stories, and they don't actually understand that if they were in their total truth, then they would make way different decisions. If they were in their total truth, they wouldn't be going for something that's in the future, or for something that is there, and yes, I have to have that, and I have to have this, and whatever, and until that happens, I'm not fucking sitting down. But at this, and then they could sit back and look at the actual moment that's here and now, and they'll see that they've actually got everything that their heart desires. They've got everything that their soul wants. And if you don't, then you've got to bring it back into the moment, and really question what reality is being created. Is it your egoic reality, or is it your soul reality? And if we know, or we assume, or let's make it a presumption, or we I don't know. I mean, look, I believe that to be true, and I think if you're still listening, then you believe it to be true, that there's so many different dimensions and whatever, but there's these two different realities that are being created at any one time, and that you get to choose which one is actually going to be the one that comes to the forefront. So you've got to, there's a number of ways of doing that. There is a number of ways of doing that, and one of them is what I mentioned before, is having this ability to bring joy, happiness, adventure, and those things usually come from not knowing what's sort of going on. Like, it sounds funny, doesn't it? But it's true. It's like when you can be in the specialness of this moment, when you can feel your body, you can feel your breath, you can just basically see right under your fucking nose, then you can start creating from that place. And what you will find, I reckon more often than not, is that if you actually bring things back to the now, you will find that you have access to everything that you actually want right here and right there. And one of the reasons, and one of the reasons why people, like, I don't know what's the word, why people go astray, or why people don't get the things that they want, including me, is because we keep putting the focus and we keep putting the energy into things that we think we want, instead of putting the energy into the things that we actually, our soul, our heart actually wants, and actually wants to experience. And that's the real key. And for a fact that if you feel stagnant, if you feel stuck, if you feel like you're fucking bored with life, if you feel like you don't know what to do next, you're most likely you're choosing your egoic or fear-based perception of life. If you feel like you're excited, there's a sense of anticipation. If you feel that there is some real cool shit that's in your life right now, not in the future, but right now, and that you're just excited to expand on whatever that is, and you're excited to move forward, and you're excited to create new things, but at the same point, you don't know how it's going to happen. I think that's really important. If you have a plan of how it'll go, I reckon that plan is going to fuck up really quickly. And look, this is where I think I lose a lot of people, because a lot of people go, well, you need a plan. What do you mean you don't have a plan? Well, you plan, like, you got to have this, you got to have that, and then this means that, and then that, and this happens there, and then no, and then we get where we want. No, it's not. The plan has to be organic. The plan has to build on what you have right now. And so for a lot of you, what you have right now, you might think that is not worthy of putting energy into. It's not big enough. There's not enough, there's not enough certainty in it. Or maybe it's not there in the way that you expect it to be there. But every single one of you that are listening to this podcast, this episode right now on being a fucking badass, every single one of you have things in your life, have at least one or two things in your life that you could expand on. Let me just use a basic example in relationships. If you're in a relationship right now and there is love there, there's intimacy, there's connection, and you're feeling good with that person, but you want all these other things that have to be met, all these other conditions that have to be met in order for you to feel okay. And let's say the relationship finishes, you break the relationship up because you don't have all those conditions that need to be met. Then I reckon what will happen and what will happen is that you'll probably end up creating the same scenario again because you're not understanding and you're not getting the fucking lesson. However, if you can sit in it could even be a job, it could be work related, whatever the fuck, and you're there and you've got the elements that sing to your fucking soul, then what you should be doing is expanding on those things and finding ways of how can I expand the love, or how can I expand the passion that I have for this job or for this person. How can I move deeper into that and make it even more bigger and fucking stronger? And then all those things that you think that you wanted, they'll literally land in your lap in 2 seconds. And this is where people go fucking wrong, is that they get what they want, but then the conditions that they set up for themselves, which is not the badass, the conditions is your fucked up ego, goes, hey, hang on, this is either too good to be true, or this is like, I need to somehow hold on to this. And the only way that I can hold on to it is by controlling it. And how can I control it? Oh yeah, I'll put some conditions on it. And then there you go, it's all fucked up. So when you're in when you're in this ability of being able to step into your badassness, into your greatness, guruness, into your Wonder Woman, into your Superman, whatever the fuck it might be, if you can do that, and I've explained how in a number of ways. And look, if you want to go even deeper, I mean, I've just literally this morning, I did if you're on YouTube, you can see my little red book. But I did what did I do? I did 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 pages on how fucked up, well, like as in journaling, on how fucked up my ego is. And how much I'm just so fucking sick of my ego. And so, excuse me. So I've had the ability to, and one of the things I actually wrote in there is like, holy shit, Tom, I'm so proud of you and I'm so proud of me. But I wrote you because I'm journaling. I just wrote, Tom, I'm so fucking proud of you for being evolved enough, for being able to write these words. And just the simple fact that you're writing these words into this journal, it shows that you're a leader. It shows that you're a fucking badass. It shows that you deserve to have every single thing what you want, that your heart wants, that your soul wants. And that's what we have to do, guys. We have to have the ability to put on your fucking cape, to be a fucking badass, and just get the fuck on with it. Like whatever it is that needs to happen. If you need to journal to bring out your ego, your fears, or whatever. I mean, I'm happy to read some of my what I wrote in here. Let's have a look. Where are we? Oh, I just had it. I'm happy to share. Where can I? So, do you know what? No, you know what? I'm not going to share because it's a bit personal. It is actually too personal, and I'm definitely all for sharing. but there was some fucked up shit in there, and it's very egoic. And the only reason I'm not sharing because I'm scared of what you guys will think, but it's just not set up enough for me to be able to share that and for you guys to get where I'm coming from. Because I tell you what, my ego, when I do stuff from my ego, I'm definitely not in my badass. And if I read some of this stuff out, you guys would be just sitting there going, doesn't really make much sense. So, excuse me, sorry for not reading that out. But that's true, isn't it? I mean, that's what it comes down to. You've got to have the ability to dabble in the whole thing of just laughing at yourself, to create joy when shit hits the fan. You know, they're the moments where life becomes fucking fun. To be able to just, oh man, it feels good when you put on the cape. It feels good when you put on this different persona. It really does allow you to get it going on. Get it going on. That annoyed me. That last bit. That last own. That annoyed me. So anyway, that's all I got for you today, guys. I wanted to give you it's a really quick one, isn't it? Like 26, 27 minutes or whatever. But I wanted to really share that with you and give you the opportunity to step into this badassness, you know, that to have this image, the Clint Eastwood, I can make my day, motherfucker, and you know, Sharon Stone. But that Sharon Stone scene where she's sitting in that seat and she's just got her legs crossed, it encapsulates, I believe, everything about badassness. It's sexy, it's fucking intimate, it's like, don't fuck with me. It's like I'm going out to get what I want, and it's just beautiful, just beautiful. And then, you know, as a roundup, if you haven't seen Matrix, maybe watch it again and get the stories from there. And you know, even if you watch Star Wars, like Jedi Master, you know, that's so cool. It's like all these incredible stories that were the biggest movies in our time. These incredible stories, they're truths. Like the directors and the guys that wrote these movies, they were creators. They knew what the fuck was going on, and they knew the shit that we're all learning. Anyway, love you guys lots, and thank you for lending me your ears for this time. Fucking love you guys. Have an epic week, and I shall see you next week.